Hey, what's up, party people? We've got a news light but vibes heavy episode of SJU coming at you. I'm here with my best bros and gal pals, Bailey, Eric, and Kim. And we're talking gaming today, which is pretty appropriate because I finally got Elden Ring to work on my PC. So I will be playing that while you guys talk about whatever it is we're doing today.
Perfect. That seems fine to me.
But we have had some crossover. Uncharted and Sonic have both been huge. Detective Pikachu, technically based on a game. So we're going to talk about the new era of video game adaptations, and if we can go back to the Bob Hoskins Mario Brothers world of my youth. Furthermore, there is there is some other news.
It's time for a requel, man. Come on.
Believe me. Yes. I've got pitches. Also, AMC now charges based on whether they think you actually want to see the movie or not, because Batman is more expensive than other movies. Is this the future? That sucks. Or is it good? I don't know. Maybe it makes sense. Also, all the Netflix Marvel shows are coming to Disney Plus, which we'll talk about. And we had a veritable bevy of fan questions on Monday that we didn't get to. And there's nothing I love more than a bevy. So we will be going through those at the end of the show. But keep them coming if you got some new ones. That's fun too. So back to gaming. Uncharted. I usually go. Sorry, I'm thinking about Elden Ring again. That's not the name of the game.
Very different games.
Yeah. Should I do my usual strength build, or is ranged viable in this one, Bailey?
I've been hearing good things about the Dex build. I'm still working my way through Horizon, if I'm going to be honest with you. But gotcha. I've heard that a Dex intelligence combo is the way to go.
I don't know if it's like a hoarder mentality, but I'm always annoyed by running out of ammo for anything in games. And the fact you need to keep making, anyways, we're talking about Uncharted today.
Dex intelligence, hug everyone. And if you hear dogs, roll out of the way.
Okay. Always be rolling.
Always be rolling.
Always be rolling.
So Uncharted, huge success, as we talked about briefly on Monday. And we have a whole slate full of video game projects on the horizon. We've got Halo, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Are any of these, do we think this is indicative of a bigger trend? Are we going to look, once we finally scrape clean the bottom of the barrel of comic books, do we think we are going to move on seamlessly from comic book adaptations to video game adaptations? What of these recent successes makes you think why that will or won't be the case, Kim?
Okay, so what recent successes? I think, the biggest successes have been the likes of Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog, which come from gaming worlds where there is kind of a lot of freedom to take a different route, if you like, creatively on the big screen. And so, I think there's an upcoming Minecraft adaptation that I'm intrigued by because that has this kind of potential. But when it comes to adaptations of, say, Uncharted, though it was successful financially, I'm not sure that critically it did quite as well. I think it's much harder to adapt something like that. Although, having said that, reviews of these kind of game adaptations are a lot better now than they used to be, back in the Mario days.
Sure.
So it's on an upward trajectory, but we're still not kind of the 90% on Rotten Tomatoes that we maybe want to see.
Right. Yeah. And I wonder, does it matter at all that this is a licensed video game IP for something like Uncharted? Because the way they promote it, and from my understanding, the movie and the game itself is already kind of a genre pastiche of old adventure films, like Indiana Jones, which was in itself an adaptation of 1930s serialized stuff. So everything's a remix. So Eric, does it matter that Uncharted is a video game movie, or are people just there to see Tom Holland?
It matters to an extent. It's kind of like why, when so many properties get remade from the past, often you're like, why are they remaking that? Most people won't even remember that. And I do think that there's a studio sensibility of, but they'll recognize the name. And that's something that gives us a leg up if you're trying to decide what to see. It's like, well, I've heard of that thing.
My ass is covered if my boss asks me why we made this movie, because it's a name people recognize.
So like something like Uncharted, like of course, very popular games, and there's going to be the crowd of people that want to see how did they adapt a game I love. But there's also going to be people who are just, honestly, this is me, aware of Uncharted. It's a thing I'm aware of because I'm a person living in the world with pop culture. And so it just kind of gives you that leg up. And I think that's what they're seeing a lot with these things. They want to please the core audience, of course. And look, what Kim was talking about, I mean, in the past, they were just a lot of terrible movies. Like they were kind of like amusingly bad as far as how bad they were. We're now in a place where it's like, no, these are reasonably entertaining movies. Like Uncharted feels like any sort of entertaining, maybe not too deep action adventure movie, which is a funny place to say like that shouldn't be the bar, but I do think it is a step up. And looking ahead, I mean, I think The Last of Us, I think, will be a very interesting litmus test just because they got the creator of Chernobyl to do it. It's like, and the game is so acclaimed. It's like, this is a great story. I think this is HBO. They want people to be like, hey, remember how great our Watchmen show was? Like, that's what they're hoping for. So that's kind of the one I'm most curious about, if that can kind of level up that critical thought around all these things.
I mean, the early wave of video game movies, and to an extent, Uncharted and Sonic and stuff like that, has kind of strayed from the source material. They've been a little bit, certainly kept it at arm's length. Like they have not gone full Sonic in Sonic. They have not gone are people going to accept these movies? Gamers, speak for all gamers, please. Are they going to accept how much fidelity does Halo or Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us have to have to the game's canon and storyline for it to appeal to the people who are fans of the game, or are they just excited to see Master Chief in live action?
I think it's going to vary based on the property there. Like with Halo, you have a ton of story to work with. It's going to be, I think, very separate from the game series. I assume it's going to be its own original story because there's just so much to work with there that you can really pick and choose your favorite pieces. Uncharted kind of did that, but it also sort of spat in the face of canon. Sully didn't act like Sully does in the game. He really was just an older version of Tom Holland's character, essentially. And they also completely retconned the backstory of how Sully and Nate meet. So there's all that, but no big deal. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. But I do think with really story-driven games like The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, you can't really stray from the canon there because the story itself is so central to the game. However, based on who's making The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, I actually feel very optimistic about the two because, like the Chernobyl creator is behind The Last of Us. The guy who directed John Wick is going to be directing Ghost of Tsushima, which, if ever there were a perfect director for that story, it would be that guy. Like, essentially, a very similar story, just replace the cute dog with an entire village full of people. And it's very similar.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited for that, but they have to stay on the story.
It's hard for me to get excited because I do love video games, but I also am like, I will smash any skip dialogue button I've ever been given in my entire life. Like, I think that they're really good experiences and interactive. I know they're different from movies. They're different from TV shows. So like to me, and yeah, they're their own thing. Like, so to me, like taking something like Ghost of Tsushima, which is a fun open world game, and turning that into like a 3-act structured story, like, I don't know, that's the part that I'm the least interested in about video games. So I kind of wish they just stop trying to be something they're not. But what do you think? I guess open this up to everybody. If there's video games you'd like to see, like, what games would you be excited to see in a linear story fashion? Like, how psyched are you for Mario, for example? Like, which one of these do you think we could see or would make good adaptations down the line?
I mean, I want to say on the Mario front that as much as it's easy to like roll your eyes at like Chris Pratt is voicing Mario in a movie from the studio behind Despicable Me, that sounds like a hit to me.
Yeah, that sounds like
it's like it's gonna go for families and kids, and I think it's gonna be a successful movie. I mean, there's always going to be talk about Zelda, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's hard to resist the pull of if they could pull off a cool Zelda movie at some point.
Yeah.
Voiced by Chris Pratt.
Voiced by Chris
And I
Pratt.
know I'm talking about Zelda, not Link, who's mute. Kim, is there anything that would move the needle for you video game wise? I mean, you don't play games. Like, does anything cross over into your level of interest? Maybe a Tetris or a Minesweeper?
Well, this is it. These are the things that I feel make the most successful video games, are those kinds of games, you know, maybe not Tetris, but you know, there's something Love Struck, which I was writing about this week or last week, that's winding down now, that kind of is going to be obsolete at the end of this month. Something like that could create kind of a, you know, a rom-com franchise.
Like a dating sim rom-com.
Yeah, that would make sense to me and could become something successful, something, you know, like this kernel of an idea that could spark a whole new thing. Although I would love to see a Legend of Zelda live action epic for sure, but I do fear that it would be a disaster.
Well, I was joking, but then I remembered that there is a Tetris trilogy that was in the works. I think now it's been like scaled back and it's like just a movie about the making of Tetris. But at one point, look this up for me, Ryan, there was going to be like a huge Tetris trilogy movie. But now that I'm looking it up, it looks like it's about the story behind Tetris. But I could have sworn, maybe I'm thinking of Pixels, that there was going to be like a big budget action adventure CGI movie about falling blocks and our desire to build them into different spaces.
That's cool. I'm in.
All right, I'll ask this. What's the worst video game you could turn into a movie? Bailey, what's the worst possible adaptation they could announce?
You didn't even ask what I was excited about.
Oh, what are you excited? Yeah, fine. Horizons. It's your favorite game. We get it.
No, I don't want that to be a movie. It's already basically a movie. If you play Horizon Forbidden West, it's cutscene after cutscene. You would hate it, Spencer.
Skip.
It's got wonderful voice acting. You're missing out. I think Luigi's Mansion would be really good.
Oh, that's a spinoff for the Chris Pratt Mario World for sure.
I think that would be very fun. I think I keep bringing up Monkey Island, but I think we're due for a comedic pirate movie. I think that would be really good. I think Wii Sports Resort would be a wild choice, but I'd see it.
That might be the worst one though. I think
no, I would have to see it. I would have to see it.
What I want is like a Lord and Miller doing the Lego movie type situation, right? Where it's like something like that, or Pong, or even Guitar Hero is turned into a movie, and you're like, what
Guitar Hero, yes.
But then it's like
a good kids movie.
But either literally Lord and Miller or someone like that does it, and it's just taking the core concept and it's like, oh, this is just a really uncreative movie, you know, using something like that.
It's interesting because I thought the worst possible like gaming community to A, cater to, or B, like try to adapt would have been League of Legends, but Arcane was amazing. So it shows what you know, I guess you can make something good at anything.
I mean, I do think I'm sorry, Kim, if you
I'm just going to say, I think that they're making a version of Just Dance. So
wow,
that proves it. Right?
Crossover with Step Up.
Now, I do think Arcane is an extremely unique case, though, because unlike a lot of games that do not seem particularly story-driven, like Just Dance being adapted, League of Legends incorporates none of their lore, but pretty much none of their lore into the actual gameplay. But the amount of lore they have is extensive to a ridiculous degree. There was so much to choose from, and none of it had been explored in the game. And I just can't think of another game that has that particular combination of things, where not only do you not have a pre-established story that you're already stepping all over, but you have a bunch of lore that you can just pick from. And I just like things like Guitar Hero, you'd have to come up with a plot whole cloth. Same with Just Dance. And things with like really well-established stories and canons, like Zelda, like Life is Strange, like things like that, you have to like stick to that canon or people get annoyed. And I feel like Arcane kind of hit that perfect sweet spot that I'm not sure other games could achieve, really.
I do think, though, that Guitar Hero does have a plot, and that is the 2001 film Rockstar starring Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, Sully himself.
Yeah, Sully himself, where you have a Guitar Hero champion in like a tribute band, and the actual guitar player, who I guess can only play 4 notes. Maybe it's an AC/DC cover band. They ask the Guitar Hero to join them. So that one. Oh, we did find the plot sort of description of the original idea for the Tetris movie, and all we have is this quote: "It's a very big sci-fi movie. This isn't a movie with a bunch of lines running around the page. We're not giving feet to the geometric shapes. What you will see in Tetris is the teeny tip of an iceberg that has intergalactic significance, people." Intergalactic. These blocks are from space,
now I'm in.
and they are falling.
Roland Emmerich could really do this one.
Yes.
It's his favorite kind of
blocks
movie.
are going to destroy cities on Earth.
Oh, good times. Well,
I almost feel like that must be the plot based on what we just heard, Eric.
People have some more things to talk about on video game adaptations. The chat, Jeffrey Elverton says, why can't they make a good Resident Evil adaptation? They're kind of fun. They're like,
I know Emma was a big fan of Welcome to Raccoon City, so she's not here to
they're schlock. But
I
they're
thought it was
schlock.
good. I enjoyed it too. I had a good time with it. I think people were weirdly down on it, and I didn't really get why. I thought that it was respectful to the canon while being fun in its own way. And I really loved the casting.
This game series is the one with like the Master of Unlocking in it. Like, this is not high art that we're trying to imitate here. And it's also inspired, like it's all in Ouroboros. Like Resident Evil is inspired by old zombie movies. So like watch those. All right.
Exactly.
There's a bunch of good ones.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones.
It just felt like the criticism of for the last Mortal Kombat movie, where people were like criticizing, like, oh, this is stupid, oh, the dialogue is bad, oh, it's weirdly gory. I'm like, yes, that's what makes it a perfect adaptation of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
What you've described is an extremely successful video game movie to me.
And
I don't understand why you're criticizing.
Yeah, they're making a
Yeah.
sequel to that one.
I'm ready for that.
Yes. Oh my God, a lady got sawed in half by a hat. Like,
That was the best part.
She did.
You need.
That was one of my first movies back in the theater, and it was well worth it.
Yes.
Who knew Kano was going to be the hit? Anyways,
Right.
let's move on. I'm sick of talking about video games because I would rather play them than talk about them or watch them on film. Please like and subscribe. Hit the thumb. Ring the bell. You know the deal.
I'm tired of talking about this. Come watch our channel.
There's other stuff to get to.
We may or may not talk about that.
I just got my horse in Elden Ring. This is important stuff, people. All right, AMC is charging more for Batman tickets. Adam Aaron, the CEO of AMC Entertainment, said tickets for the Batman will cost more than other movies when it opens this week, as they're experimenting with variable pricing. Currently, our prices for the Batman are slightly higher than the prices we're charging for other movies that you don't want to see playing in the same theater at the same time. Okay, I may have added a few words there. The move follows a few years after it successfully raised weekend pricing above midweek levels at some of its US locations. So this is basically going to be like the stock market, right? We have to like time when you're going to buy a movie ticket, with judging by like fan interest and time of day and stuff like that. But moving on briefly, people have suggested price tiers might be a way to help get people back in theaters, maybe charging less for worse seats, like behind a column or something, or smaller movies. But this is just
columns they have in movie theaters.
Yeah, this is just raising the price of the thing people want to see. Does this suck, or is this just like we're gonna have to suck it up and bite the bullet if we want to keep movie theaters open? Eric, what do you think?
This one makes me mad. Because look, I love seeing movies in the theater. I want theaters to survive. I know it's a struggle these days, and this is just such a bad way to try to, because it's one thing to say like, hey, maybe we have price tiers and figure out different ways, but just to be like, hey, you know how Batman's gonna be popular? That's $1 more. That is not a way to help theaters in the long term. It's just a way to get more money from a movie that was already going to make a lot of money. I just think that this is a very short-term thing to do, in no way, because it's not like they're promising like better quality in that theater or a better presentation in that theater, or even 3D if you like that, which I don't. It's just you're paying for a movie that's popular here. Now it's more. So yeah, this to take a suggestion people had about price tiers and just do it in like the worst way. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
And so yeah, not psyched about this one.
Kim, are you ready to get a sweet deal because we have niche movie tastes?
Yes, I am. I have actually long advocated price tiers, but at this moment in time, putting up prices as they are in this instance, in the case of the Batman, is very bad timing because the cost of everything, the cost of living is going up, and we're all struggling. Is bad timing. And usually what this means is the more things get more expensive, they don't get cheaper. They're not going to reduce the prices of the worst seats in the house, are they? They're just going to raise the prices of everything else, which really does suck. But if I could get a cheap ticket to sit in that the front row in the furthest seat in the corner, I probably wouldn't buy it, but someone might.
Yeah.
It should be cheaper. That's a terrible seat, right? That should be £5, £5 British pounds, and I wouldn't pay any more than that.
I mean, this is sadly to me like the general. You want to look at the future of the theatrical experience is look at the present of the live theater experience, which is, if it's a show people want to see, they charge a lot of money for the best seats. And also every city has like one or two theaters in it, and that's about it. And there's like 3 or 4 big shows. Sadly, I think that is where we're headed. Oh, also it's full of old people and kids don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, as a person who has lost a beloved neighborhood movie theater due to pandemic related reasons, I am willing to pay a little bit of a nerd tax for the time being if it helps keep theaters going. I don't want to lose another one. I simply cannot.
Yeah.
My heart cannot take it.
Yeah. And it's true of everything. Like, I feel like the, like you said, inflation is a thing that's happening everywhere. And like all the businesses that were most affected by the pandemic, instead of like cutting prices to get people back in, they're raising prices to make up the money that they lost through the pandemic. I know that's true of like, I was looking into taking maybe a vacation and like, nope, that's not happening. Like hotels are like, yeah, here's the thing. We need double or else you can't stay here because we lost a bunch of money. So this sucks. And also, who gets to decide ahead of time? How do they know how many people want to see this? Do they just like do Twitter trends?
I mean, it's just going to be the superhero stuff, right? Which is what most people are going to anyway. So I think they saw all those spider bucks and now they're just like, hey, the kids love those superheroes. So, Doctor Strange, you're next up after, I don't know about Morbius, but there'll probably be a Strange tax coming up.
This sucks. I'm going to sign up for Movie Pass, even if all it is like a crypto scam or something. I don't even know what it is, but I'm signing up.
It tracks your eyes. You have to keep your eyes on the screen. That's a real thing that they say.
I'm signing up for the Clockwork Orange package.
Yeah, you have to Clockwork Orange yourself onto some ads, or you don't get to watch the free movies.
You know what I just speaking of which, you know what I just watched on YouTube that's free with ads is Over the Top, the Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie, and I gotta say, worth watching the occasional pop-up ad for. So head on over to the related videos and check out Over the Top, starring Sylvester Stallone and a young boy who just wants his dad to take him around in the truck wrestling other truckers. It's great.
I feel like a young boy doing an arm wrestling competition with Sylvester Stallone. It seems a little unfair to me. He's probably
there's a lot to it's all about leverage and technique, Bailey. You have to watch
there's a lot you can learn about life through arm wrestling.
And life. It's like a metaphor.
Yeah. So true.
It's
all about your opponent. Don't sweat too much. Keep your elbow on the table.
Oh man, if they could do like a Creed thing. Yeah, what yes,
I will offer that I once at 12 years old beat a 20-year-old man in an arm wrestling competition.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of factors we don't know here. How strong were you as a 12-year-old? How flimsy was the 20-year-old?
Well,
why were you in jail?
Let's leave it there.
Wow. Oh man. Okay. I won't ask anymore, but fans, you know what to do. Ask all the right questions.
Kim was the buffest 12-year-old in the UK. And she wanted everyone to know
it. Just the hat going backwards. That's when she turns into a machine. She gets locked in. Oh, it's so good. Okay. Netflix shows. They're coming to Disney Plus on March 16th. That's wow. I didn't know they weren't on there already, but that's cool. We're getting all your favorites: Iron Fist, Defenders, and also the good and also the good ones. Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Punisher, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's all fun. That's a nice little bonus. I'm kind of surprised. Are they kind of are they tiptoeing into more adult-oriented content, or do they just have to do this because it's Marvel? Kim, what do you think?
I mean, are they definitely not cutting any of these? First of all,
they've insinuated they're not, because they're adding new parental controls. They made sure to put that in the press release because I think they knew that some people would be like, wait a second, I don't want my kid seeing Kingpin kill a guy's with slamming his head in the door. So they're adding new parental controls simultaneously.
Not the earlier they learn, the better.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's too late
Like
for me.
Kim did.
On the streets.
I will arm wrestle anyone. I think Disney, they're intent on world domination, and if this is the case, then they have to embrace adult content. I don't mean adult in that sense, and this is the first step towards it, I suppose. And I will be very interested. I don't know if I'll notice if they've cut anything. I need to be able to watch them side by side. Maybe Eric, you'll be eagle-eyed enough to tell.
I'll be checking all out. Yeah, I mean, we should note, it's so unusual for anyone watching this outside of America. It's like, we know that overseas, including for you, Kim, it's like, you don't have Hulu. There's Disney Plus has the Star Hub, and that's where sort of R-rated, more adult content is with a parental control thing. We don't have that. So the assumption had been that's like Hulu would probably get these shows, but it does seem like A, they just want everyone to think Marvel, Disney Plus, and B, in the long term, it's like, it just seems strange that Hulu is separate for us. And the fact that they're doing this, the fact that overseas, you guys already have like Pam and Tommy as a Disney Plus show is wild. Here in America.
Oh, with the talking penis.
Oh,
Amazing.
so these Marvel shows are nothing.
So putting like Daredevil and Jessica Jones having like some pretty wild sex with Luke Cage, it's pushing it for Disney Plus here.
Oh my God, I missed that in
my
Daredevil.
version. But yeah. So this it's certainly notable that they're doing this, but I guess it was inevitable that people will have to. I know Americans can get very sensitive with their Disney labeling, but I think they're like, okay, guys, we're gonna sneak you into this stuff.
There's an argument that the traditional Disney values of happy endings and so forth is more damaging than some of that more adult stuff we might see.
Oh, but those people don't want to talk about that.
I just, like they already have all the other superhero stuff that they own on there. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially since they are now folding the Netflix show canon into their cinematic universe. Like, it just makes sense to have them live all on the same platform. And to me, that's Disney acknowledging that they're still canon. They're part of the overall extended universe.
Right. Because I would have thought that were this not canon, they're not that desperate for content. They could just bury this stuff and just it'd be a weird historical offshoot. But I think that there's been a fan groundswell and kind of a reevaluation of these. Even though, I mean, I like them, but I think that if you're going to make cuts, I've got some cuts for you, like about 2 episodes per series. Like, gone. That's,
I think also, I think that they saw, like, the fact that Daredevil got this huge boost and was once again one of Netflix's most popular shows because of No Way Home and Hawkeye. It's like, and then it worked out with the timing of Disney getting the rights back. And they're like, we could put it on Hulu, but because people think Marvel and Disney Plus, we want them to keep thinking that. And put it there. I was talking to some people. I was having a polite arguments on Twitter about people were like, oh, well, they add these shows to, if you look at the Marvel Hub on Disney Plus, you can watch in chronological order of the MCU. I was like, no, they're not going to do that. They haven't done that even with Agent Carter, and that's a show that they were more directly involved in, they being Marvel Studios. They're always going to be that like canon asterisk, which is like, it's kind of canon. We're just not going to refer to a lot of the events of those. So, but I think it will. It's just nice to have it all in one place, right? You're looking to watch it. There it is.
Yeah, and if they put like the Roger Corman Fantastic Four up there, and like the doors are open, everything's fair game now. I can't wait. Is Elektra on there?
It's not.
God, I
but
hope so.
At some point, it probably will be. Yeah, they own Daredevil and Elektra, those movies now because they bought Boxx. So
That's great.
why not?
I mean, the playground fight scene in Daredevil is like the baseball scene in Twilight for me. Like it's a perfect piece of cinema wrapped in total garbage. And I love it so much. I will watch the whole movie just for that scene. I know I could just watch the scene by itself, but I'm not.
What We Do in the Shadows,
recreated
doing a parody of that was so phenomenal.
Yes.
I gotta check that out. Lon Harris and I did a parody of that somewhere on the internet. We'll have to dig that up and play.
I
want to
see that
later.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Lon was Jessica Biel, for the record. Okay,
how's she gonna get involved in that?
The live chat. Yeah, we have some great questions. So let's do these really quick because I don't want to push these off yet again. Sorry, people. So let's do these kind of rapid fire because there's lots of good ones. Simon Smith asked, in regards to the Disney Star Cruiser episode on Monday, what other films or franchises should have their own themed hotel other than The Room?
Oh my God, Dirty Dancing. That lends itself brilliantly.
Perfect.
Just go to the Catskills.
But everybody's going to try to
They're
F the Swayze.
No, but
there's only
one.
one. Does every girl
Johnny
get assigned a Swayze?
Baby.
Oh yes, Spencer.
How many perfectly coiffed dance instructors are there? I guess they'll all have to flock to the Poconos. That's a tough gig, but I'm willing to do it. That's a good idea. Eric, do you have another?
I do. There's been some companies have done very unofficial versions of this when it's just like a generic horror place, but I want an officially licensed Friday the 13th Camp Crystal Lake hotel experience where you will be terrorized. You will have to fend for your life. And it'll be awesome. A few years ago at Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers at the lot, they were experimenting with their own kind of horror nights thing, and they did Friday 13th, and they had Camp Crystal Lake. Like they used like the lake on the back lot, and it was so cool just walking through it. So yeah, I want like the full experience, the full immersion of it's 1980s. I'm at a summer camp, and Jason Voorhees is coming to kill me. That's what
That's
I want.
pretty
I
great.
want like a psycho hotel where it's totally normal, but at any given moment, someone could burst in on you and stab you to death in the shower.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it adds a little sense of thrill to my vacation.
Okay, yeah, I'm into all these. These would all make great themed ones. I'd probably do. I feel like Star Cruiser kind of trod on this ground, but the Floston Paradise Cruise and Fifth Element, where it's basically the same thing as the Star Wars one, but just way more French and oddly sexual. And there's a blue opera singer with stones in her stomach that you have to. Everyone gets to remove.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be rad.
All right, moving on. Let's see. Adam Hulbert asks, my favorite novel, Primitive War, is getting adapted into a film. Sick. Does a dinosaur war movie sound more exciting than Jurassic World 3? I feel like they're tiptoeing their way towards that, right? They keep kind of acknowledging they kind of seeded the idea that like it's going to be army versus dinosaurs at some point. I want to look up this Primitive War book. That sounds up my alley.
I mean, I watched this Cliff Beasts trailer today, and that looks like what you're talking about here.
Cliff Beasts? What is this?
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, it's The Bubble, I think. The Judd Apatow film he released.
It's that fake movie that's part of that. It's promotion for his movie The Bubble, which is about a group of actors making a movie in a COVID bubble at a hotel. Okay. So they put out a fake trailer for the movie
6, the
that
Battle
is
of Everest.
the movie they're making. So Karen Gillan and Keegan-Michael Key, you'll like recognize people that are in this fake movie that they're in the actual movie The Bubble.
Yeah. This is getting many layers. I say keep it simple. Remember those Dinosaurs Attack trading cards?
Oh yeah.
I think that was what they were called, right? Yeah, Dinosaurs Attack. They were just super gory. They were like Garbage Pail Kids, but it was just disturbing images of dinosaurs eating different people. And there was a plot. We fight back. I think we used aliens to help. Anyways, there's your movie. Done. Sold.
I do think that the new Jurassic World, does look fun in that it's finally like they're in the real world. But everyone should look up. There's a lot of articles about the Jurassic Park sequel never made that John Sayles wrote that I guess involved like genetically engineered dinosaur soldiers fighting alongside humans on the mainland. And it's like just sounds completely like amazing lunacy. Yeah. So I would have liked that as well.
Yeah, I think there's
Listen,
room for more than
yeah,
one
for
dinosaur-based franchise.
Yes.
But I was going to say, like, the way to do it is probably the more B-movie schlocky one, but Jurassic
Yeah.
World has turned into that.
Right.
So I don't know.
I mean,
it's
in
crazy we
Horizon
got a
Forbidden
prestige.
West, I have been
Oh,
fighting a
God.
lot of dinosaurs.
He always manages
Some
to
of
loop it back.
Some of them have
All
chainsaws
right.
for mouth. I don't think we could survive that. That's too much.
What the heck?
All right.
That's very scary.
Benz10 asks, will we be making a Nightmare Alley on this trailer? Maybe. I think it will be part of the Best Picture ones because it's a nominee and we do that every year. So looking forward to that. And he also asked, have we reached peak Batman? How much Batman is too much and have we been oversaturated? I say no because I would have said yes, but I'm really excited to see the new one. But are we at peak Batman? Is there such a thing?
I don't know. I still don't know how his parents died, so I'd love to find that out.
If I don't see pearls drop on the concrete every 4 years like clockwork, I will explode.
My friend Liz Shannon Miller wrote a satirical article about why won't they tell us how Batman's parents died? And guess what? A bunch of people on the internet took it literal and have been telling her, how have you missed all these movies?
No.
Yes.
Well, for the chat's benefit, I need to make it clear that I know how Batman's parents died, and that was a silly little joke I
our
made.
Viewers,
A funny little haha.
Yeah, it's a lot of Batman, and it's crazy, and it's easy to make fun of how much Batman, but so far it keeps working. Look, we're gonna have this movie opening this week, and then guess what? I'm gonna be excited to see Michael Keaton again in a few months as Batman in The Flash. So, as much as it's easy to snark about, and it is easy, and it is amazing that they threw in the Wayne's getting killed into Joker. It's like, guess what? We're gonna show it to you one more time. It's like it keeps working for Warner Brothers so far.
All right, well, we'll end with this. This kind of cryptic question, but I think it reveals a lot about your inner being and your soul. Because Reynard City Update Channel just asked, owls, yes or no? That's all you get.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I just watched a video the other day of somebody feeding an owl using tweezers held in an owl puppet's mouth. And that was beautiful.
Oh God. Kim, can you send me that?
I will, yes.
Yeah, please share that.
Send it to me over the Slack.
Put it in the description.
I'm pro owl. I've dissected owl poop. I think that is that a weird American rite of passage where they have you
I've done that.
go through that in
I
science
have
class?
not done that.
Oh yeah, no, I super had to do that. You find the little mouse bones?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that's where
bones?
I kind of bonded with my best friend because we found a bunch of vole skulls in the owl poop, and we created Ultra Vole, which was a 3-skulled vole with 7
Gross.
arms. And
This sounds like the setup to a "We're gonna kill people together" movie.
Who says we didn't? But that's when we knew we just became best friends, when we built Ultra Vole out of owl poop. So I'll always be in debt to owls. Eric, yay or nay?
Yay, because owls make me think of Twin Peaks, and the owls are not what they seem. And I'm going to see Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me tonight at Alamo Draft House.
Nice.
It all loops together.
Ooh.
So it's good thoughts for me of something I love.
Bailey, any dissent in the panel?
Listen, for me, it really depends on the circumstance. From a distance, owls are so cool. They can turn their head all the way around. That's sick as hell. Best character in Winnie the Pooh. There's so much that's good about owls. However, I don't think I could take one in a fight. So if I'm stuck in a room with one, that's going to be a no on owls for me. But again, from a distance, watching a cute video, seeing how cool it is when they turn their head all the way around, dissecting their poop in the 4th grade. That's perfect. That's my perfect level of owl.
Guys,
Well,
I missed out on this poop dissection. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you clearly did. You can always do it yourself. There's nothing stopping you. So a big hoot hoot to everyone still in Owl Nation around the country. And a somber hoot hoot from me because that's our time for today. We've all got things to do, and I hope you had fun avoiding what you have to do here with us. So Bailey, Kim, Eric, thanks for joining us. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.